Hi there, it's Tara, she of all things transformational, and this is a video with one restorative pose that would be helpful for many people when they have a headache. I've mentioned in a couple of my other videos about headaches that I love this oil, and again, I don't get anything for this. If I get commissions from the Old Bass Company, believe me, I'd be rich, okay? But Old Bass oil, OLBAS, is a wonderful blend of peppermint, eucalyptus, wintergreen, juniper, cajeput, and clove. And this oil is so helpful for headaches and muscle tension and even respiratory things and sinus stuff. So if you have a headache, you can put a couple dabs of it on any of your affected areas. Watch the massage video that I put up, and you can massage into the affected areas where you're feeling the potential tension that might be causing the headaches. This is just a great boom. But today's video is going to be a video where we just do one restorative pose, and it is lovely if you have, or peppermint oil works lovely, if you have a nice essential oil that you can inhale while you're resting in this pose, all the better. So for this pose, what you're gonna need today is you're gonna need 2 blankets. What you see on top, that colorful thing, that's actually a hot pack. And, oh, I'm sorry, 3 blankets and a hot pack if you have it. If you don't, you just omit it. This can also be done with a yoga bolster and a block and a blanket. So we're making essentially a little teeny slope to rest on. So let me show you what this is going to do, the anatomy of this setup. So what I've got here, first of all, my hot pack. This is my hot pack. It's quite large. You don't need to use one this large. You could have one that's, maybe this size. This would work too, and you would put it on your setup like this if it's that size. So there's a lot of ways to utilize a hot pack here. But heat is so helpful when you have a tension headache. So if you can get the hot pack option, that's a great assist for your headache situation. So what I've got here is I've got 2 blankets folded. I went from this size to this size, and then I folded the ends in a little bit like this. If you're using these true Mexican blankets, fold the fringe end in. If you're using something like a beach towel, it doesn't matter. So the one on the bottom is like this, and I've got it so that this fatter end is, this is on the farther end of the mat. And then I'm going to take this one with the fringed end, the folded side in, and I'm going to sandwich it on top. So it's sort of like the 2 folded ends are here together. And what this is doing is this is making a little bit of a slope. And that's what I want. And if you're using a bolster, you need a firm bolster, and you would have the bolster laying lengthwise, and you could stick a block or 2 underneath the bolster to make a little ramp. Then the 3rd blanket is folded in this position. So from here to here, and that's going to go on the end, and that's where my head's going to be. And you know what? I do also have a little eye pillow here. You don't have to use an eye pillow, but it's lovely, especially if you do have a headache, okay? So now if you have a hot pack and you heated it up and you're going to use it, if it's something like this size, what I did and what I like to do is I would just lay this over my ramp, and I would just kind of have it here, because this is where the back of my skull is going to go, and that's going to feel really nice to have some heat on this occipital ridge of my skull that has so many of the culprit headache muscles. Okay, but if you're only having something smaller like this size, then maybe you just kind of do something like this, or you could play around with it. You know, however you want to organize it is fine. Now I'll show you how we're gonna lie. You're gonna lie down with your butt is actually on the floor, but you have the ends of this blanket set up, touching your tailbone. And you're just gonna lay down over it. So that what we've got here is the head is perfectly supported by that blue blanket, and if you happen to have a hot pack that can be underneath the ridge of your occiput a little bit, that's great. It's meeting the back of the neck. And look, I can even kind of fold mine in around the tops of the shoulders, which are also often headache culprits. So then if I was just gonna rest like this, I would probably decide if I like the arms open with my palms up, or if I prefer to have the hands in the belly. I might decide to put something under the knees like a pillow or a bolster or not. And of course I'd want to be warm enough, so I would cover myself with a blanket if I was at all chilly. The eye pillow could go over the eyes, not the nose. And of course, if you had that any kind of essential oil that you're using to assist the headache, that could be judiciously applied. So once you're in your position, why don't you pause the video now, make sure that you're in your position, and then I'll talk you through a beautiful rest here. So now that you're resting comfortably in your pose, I'm going to encourage you to release your jaw by exhaling and releasing any tension in the tongue and the jaw, and letting the lips part, or at least just softly touch. And notice when you do that, you get to also release the way the muscles are touching the back of your skull. So imagine as you exhale that the muscles that are touching the back of your skull are like fingers that are softening a clenched grip, softening the way they touch the back of your skull, becoming soothing and tender to how they touch the back of the skull. So each exhale, you're going to soften the muscles in the neck that are creating clenching sensation on the skull, one strand at a time, one muscle fiber at a time, letting those muscles become soothing and tender and caring in their touch. Start to feel the back of the neck slightly lengthen, letting the chin drop down towards the chest a little more. Exhale and notice the quality of your eyes. Let the eyes relax, relaxing the muscles behind the eyes. Let the eyebrows become heavy. And feel as you relax the eyes that you can relax the jaw and the back of your neck even more. Even if it doesn't happen at first, just continue to exhale and offer the invitation for the eyes to release their sense of curiosity, their sense of intensity. Softening those muscles behind the eyes. Letting the eyes nestle back into the head a little more, so that you start to feel the eyebrows Spread from the center of the eyebrow line out to the temples, around the ears, and down the sides of the neck. Exhale and feel this spread through the shoulders, allowing the deep innermost part of your shoulder joint to relax so that the arms become utterly heavy and surrendered to the floor. Exhale and make sure that you are not holding any tension in the elbows, fingers, or palms of the hands. Exhale and release the jaw down to the jawline and that soft patch of tissue underneath your jaw in front of your throat. And let this inform the front of your neck and throat to relax. Down to the collarbones, from the center part all the way out to the edges of the collarbones. Let this travel below the collarbones into the pectoral muscles, into the armpits, down the arms and down the sides of the body. Continuing to feel the back of the head and neck release, the upper back and shoulders, and then softening the area between the shoulder blades. Feel the spreading, and as you exhale, a lengthening. And then you can start to really feel the shoulder blades release, neither pressing down nor pulling up. And this continues through the whole back. And as you feel the back release, you can allow the hips to fully let go, and the outer hips deep into the socket. Groin crease, and from the groin crease to the inner knee. So the belly softens, the hips soften, and then you're going to let the legs receive all of the softening possible right in towards the bones of the legs. So the inner thighs are released, the outer edges of the legs are a little heavier. And as you really surrender the weight of your body into the supports, into the floor, you might start to feel a pervasive sense of calm move through you. Ease, the unfurling of any tension in the body. And allow yourself to really surrender all of the tissue of your body to gravity. Feel the tissue spreading out. Feel the tension areas in the head and the neck spreading out. If there are resistant areas, you can exhale and from your heart center, thank those areas for their resistance and ask them to please soften now. And I'm going to recommend to you to continue to breathe here, softening your whole being for as long as feels good to you. Repeat this as often as feels helpful to you. Many blessings. I wish you well. Namaste.